Hi. So what I suppose what I've been talking about is so feminists and feminism demanded. This is going back to suffragettes. They demanded male space. That I think is that fair to say? Yeah. So they wanted the male, a piece of the male, what they perceived as the male action. They didn't want the male responsibility. So this is really going. I mean, that was what 100. How long ago was the suffragettes? 120 years ago. 110 years ago. So they were upper middle class. Well, there wasn't really middle classes then. My family wasn't middle class then. I mean, I don't know if they were or not. I don't think. My granddad's family had a farm and everything. I don't think they were competent, quite competent people, yeah. But it wasn't really until the 70s and the 80s and 90s we became, like a lot of people, relatively wealthy. And so these women, at that time, so back then, when they were about, in Stirling for example, you'd have still had the poorhouse that you got sent to. So if you got dumped your man, you and your children landed up, people wouldn't have dumped their man. They would have probably, if their man got killed at war or got killed or there wasn't any of the rest of the family to look after them, they landed up in the poorhouse. And nobody wanted to go to the poorhouse. That was like a horrible place to be, so they didn't want to go there. So so all this sort of changes. So there's a big push from feminists to have a bit of the male action. And of course, you could say the trans women are men trying to get a piece of the. Well, this might not be very popular what I'm saying, a lot of trans women won't like it, but they're trying to get a piece of the female action or whatever that is. You know, lifestyle. No lifestyle, but so they sort of try to. So it depends. So the argument or the noise at the moment is about trans women. So that's people born biologically male. The argument is that they are invading biologically female spaces. So they're calling that a safe space, and it's a pretty. That's the sort of battleground where this is being fought on. Is that safe space for the predators? And we had one. In Scotland, they pushed a lot of that stuff further, and of course we got rid of Nicola Sturgeon because of Isla Bryson, who had been convicted of RAPE, so is still in jail. Was in a women's prison for a while. So you've got the added complication of that. So Isla Bryson, for example, probably had not had surgery, so you've got a practical consideration to make here. So if you're going to put a trans woman who's had gender reassignment into a male facility, that's going to be a problem. She's not going to get pregnant, but she's going to get fucked a lot, right? So you don't want that, do you, if you're in a prison? So I think what's happened is it's a sideways culture war. And so radical feminists are using mainstream women as ordinary women in this battle against trans. So when you look at the women that were celebrating the win outside the court, it was all like blue-haired weirdos, lesbians. You know, you could take it further, but this is where the battleground is at the moment. The definition of a woman: have fucking children. You know, having a fucking Audi doesn't mean everything. Have children. You know, have a man, stay with a man, but they don't want that. They want everything. When you say they, who do you mean? Well, look at the percentages of divorce. It's fucking huge. Is it something like 50? It's way up like 50% people get divorced. It's just, it's such an open contract. It's such a strange thing to get married that you don't know what the fuck you're letting yourself in for, and that's why people are not doing it now. So everybody's losing out. Women are losing out. Everybody's losing out. So my feelings are that these are not safe spaces. The Equality Act, this seriously undermines the Equality Act. You know, it's not me that brought out the Equality Act. It was who was it? Tony Blair or Gordon Brown or somebody that brought it out. 2010. Was it 2008 or 2010, 2007 or something? So this judgment seriously undermines the Equality Act. So I don't know how they're going to work that out. What am I supposed to do with my certificate? You know, it's a legally binding certificate. So it's like, how's that going to work? What am I supposed to do with that? People can be rude about it and tell me what to do with it, but in a legal situation, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? It says fucking female on my birth certificate. Fuck. So how can I change back? I've had surgery and everything. That's the whole problem that a lot of people are not realising. There's sort of like ordinary weirdos like me who are just trying to get by in life and don't really want to argue about all this crap. But there you go, that's all I've got to say on the matter. Right. The school is on holiday, it's Easter holidays. So thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.